Okay, so this is called what? Endpoint. Endpoint here, what we will do, what we will get all information about that, what? All information about this endpoint, like which kind of request, which kind of class name is there, which kind of methodology, means which kind of request we are making that, right? So after then, which kind of return type is there? This is nothing but what is that? Endpoint information, guys. Okay, now this is nothing but what? Endpoint information. So based on that endpoint information, what we are doing now, we are making the request, right? We are making the request and we are taking the what is that JSON data or XML data, right? So same like so. Let's move on and we will discuss about that. Okay, na? And we will see that elaboration explanation here only. Okay, so don't worry about that. We will learn each and everything as a too much clearly picture with the clear picture. Okay, na? So okay, so now this is the endpoint, guys. This is the our what is that REST controller endpoint. Okay, here based on that information, right? If we are making the request, what is that class name? Okay, now based on that class name request, which kind of request is taking, right? So class label request methodology. After then, what is that? Get, post, put, delete, all four methodology we used or not? Okay, so based on that information, this is information we will give to consumer, right? This is what is that? Our producer class, right? So if we need to develop what is that? Our consumer who can take our services, right? Who can take our services. So for that we have need some information, right? We have need to information, right? Whom information? Consumer, sorry, provider information. So provider information means provider will become what is that? In the REST terminology, what we can say? Endpoint, right? We can say what? Endpoint. So what is that? Okay, so if we want to make like get no, I our consumer want to save the data, right? Means no, one first minute, select the data first, select. Our consumer want to get all information, right? So first we have need to give our consumer, right? Endpoint information, then our consumer can work on that, right? Then our consumer can work on that. So what kind of information we will give to our consumer, guys? Like okay, so we will give the method information. What is the method information? It's a return type, response entity, right? After then, which kind of methodology we will use to make the request? Get type. Okay, na? And what is the URI of this this method? All. Okay, na? This information we will give. Then our consumer, right? Then our yeah, consumer can make the request, and consumer can take the benefit of what? Our REST endpoint methodology services. Okay, na? So okay, so if we want to develop our own, right? So initially I said that, guys, right? Initially I said that. Okay, so based on that, yeah, Manjulata, good afternoon. Okay, na? Based on that, if we say that, right? So okay, let's understand. Okay, so first, what is that? What is that? Our structure, our application structure, let's see that, right? Our application structure, let's see that. Okay, our application structure, we will see that. Okay, na? Don't use, guys, paintbrush in your phone. Who is the logging with your phones? Okay, na? This is very bad. It's a little bit disturbing our classes, nothing more than else. Fine. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so let's move on and we will see that. Okay, now our application structure is, guys, what? This is the database. This is what? Database, right? This is what? Database, where our data, where our application data information will be stored, guys. Okay, na? So after then, what is that? Just we are saying that, nothing more than else. Okay, na? Here what is that? DAO layer is there, right? Here DAO layer is there, here service layer is there, and here what is that? Integration layer, nothing but REST controller, right? Nothing but REST controller. Okay, now this is what is that? Producer application. This is what? Producer application, guys. Okay, na? Inside this producer application, this is what is that? DAO layer, right? Data access layer. This one is the data access layer. This one nothing but what is the service layer, and this one is nothing but what is that? integration integration layer, nothing but guys REST controller layer, right? Our other application will interact with whom? Our other application will interact with whom? Our integration layer only, right? So okay, so let's see that, let's see that next. Okay, now let's see that next, guys. Okay, now this is our application architecture, guys. Based on this application architecture, we develop this last application. Okay, now we developed this application based on this architecture only. This is nothing but what? This is nothing but what, guys? A layered application. This is nothing but what is that? Layered application. Okay, now our industry is following this architecture, guys, to develop our to achieve modularity in the application, and to make our application as what? Loose couple. To make our application as what, guys? Loose couple. Okay, now so let's move on, guys. Let's move on, and we will see that next. Okay, now we will see the next. Okay, guys. Okay, so here this is what this application is what? Consumer application, sorry, producer application, guys. Already we completed this part. Okay, na? And whatever in the method to expose our data in the integration layer, nothing but REST controller. Whatever we wrote the logic based on that Postman, we already tested in the last session. But here what we are going to do now, today we are going to write our own REST, right? We are going to write our own REST, and we are going to write our own client. Based on that client, we will make the request, and we will execute the logic of what? This integration layer. Okay, na? So okay, guys, so let's move on, and let's see that. Okay, na? So here what is that? Spring people is given. So think about that. This is our other application, right? Other application. See, see, guys, producer what is that? Web application. But consumer standalone consumer can be standalone application, or web application, or what is that? Mobile application, or what? Distributed application, or what? Angular application, right? Consumer, right? This application, because of that we are using what? Because of that we are using what? RESTful services, right? To make our application at what is that? Interoperable, right? Interoperable application. Because of that we are using what? RESTful services to make our application as a distributed application. Because of that we are using what? RESTful services. Okay, guys, so let's move on. Don't worry about that. I will give a clear picture about the RESTful until completing the REST, right? You people will become confident about the RESTful services, guys. And even I will deliver those kind of things only, whatever useful for industry. Okay, na kachara kind of thing I will not deliver, guys. Okay, don't worry about that. Kachara kind of thing, if we learn, right, then our whole life will complete. We can't learn what is that? Any technology. Okay, our mind is less small in this small of amount. In this small amount of mind, right? We have need to take care of our family, friends, as well as what is that? Our career also, right? So don't worry about that. Whatever necessary thing, those things we will learn it. Okay, so okay, guys. Okay, so let's move on, and we will see that, guys. Okay, na? We will see that next level discussion. Okay, so today what I'm going to do now? Consumer. I'm going to write the consumer application, guys. Okay, na? Consumer application. Okay, so what is that? Consumer application. Okay, so think about that. This is consumer application. In this consumer application, I'm going to Spring people is given what is that? One concrete class, guys. Okay, concrete class. What is the concrete class name? Is what? REST controller. REST template. REST, what is that? REST template, right? REST template. This is nothing but what is that? Concrete class. This is the class, guys. Based on that, what is that? Based on this request, right? Based on this one, what is that? Based on this class, what we will do now, guys? We will make the request, right? Request to whom? We will make the request to whom, guys? Our producer application, right? Our producer application, we will make the request. Okay, so now fine, guys. So what is that? What we are making now? HTTP request. HTTP request. Okay, na guys. Okay, so we will make the HTTP request. Okay, so for, next what will happen? What will happen now, guys? Next, what will happen now? Okay, so after then, based on that request, right? Based on that request, what will happen now? Our producer application will give the response, right? Response to whom? Respond to whom? Our consumer application will give the response to whom producer will give the response to whom. What is that? Consumer. Okay, na consumer. So this is nothing but what is that? HTTP response, guys. Okay, na. So fine, this much things will happen, right? Based on that, what is that? REST template whenever we will make the request, guys. Okay, na. So all things will happen with what is that? Network, right? All things will happen with what is that? Network, guys. Okay, na. Network. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, now let's move on and we will see that. So guys, we know that come here. What is that? What is the return type, guys? Here response entity, right? Response entity, right? Response entity. Okay, so let's move on and we will see that, guys. Okay, so now what is that? HTTP response will come. Okay, now so response, whenever response HTTP response will come, guys, here in the our application, right? Whenever response will come in our application, right, we will develop this consumer standalone, guys. Okay, now don't worry about that. This consumer we will develop a standalone application. Okay, now so we know that how many part will be there, guys. How many part is there? Two part is there. One is the body part is there. Body part is there. See, one is what is that? Body part is there, and the second one is what is that? In the response entity, status code we will get what is that? Response entity, guys, right? Response entity. Our application will send what is that? Response entity. It's a response entity. How many part is there? Two part is there. Body part is there, and what? Body part is there, and status is there, right? Based on that we are doing that, guys. Okay, now so after then, okay, so next what will happen now? Next what will happen now? Here what we will get now, guys? Response entity. Response entity. Response entity. We will get the response entity object. Whenever we will get the response entity object, guys, then what we will do now? Then we will perform the operation. Okay, na? Then we will perform the operation. But so okay, so here what is that? How many we can make the request, like HTTP get, post, put, delete, same like, okay, na? Same like. Okay, so come let's understand what is that REST template, guys. REST template. Okay, na? So let's understand what REST template. Okay, na? I will compare with what is that Postman tool also. Don't worry about that. Whenever we will make na request, I will compare our application with what? With what? Our REST template with a Postman client, and I will show each and everything thing, guys. Just concentrate on that. Okay, na? Just concentrate on that. And all video I already uploaded on my YouTube channel, guys. Don't worry about that. Okay, na? I'm not hiding anything here. I will expose each and everything, and I will deliver. And you people are there in the good place only. Here we are not doing the businesses. Okay, na? Here only one thing is there. Think win-win. Okay, na? I be happy and you will be happy. This is the my life goal. Okay, na? So nothing more than else. I'm already happy. I want to make you people also happy only. Okay, so okay, guys. Okay, give me a friend 1 minute. Someone is there on my door. Just 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so thank you. Thanks for your cooperation, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so like that we will make the request, guys. Okay, now so first let's understand what is that REST template, guys. Okay, let's understand what is that REST template. Okay, now what is that REST REST template, right? By using REST template, we can make what is that, how many, by using what is that, get. In the REST template, get method is there. Get methodology, we can make the request. Post methodology, we can use the post methodology. Another one is what is that, put 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 and a delete, right? Delete. All methods are there. Based by using these methods, right? By using this method, we will make the request. Okay na, we will make the request to whom, our producer class, right? This is the, we will use the REST template in consumer class, right? Based on that, using REST template, we will make the request, guys. Okay na, we will make the request to whom, our producer class, and producer class will expose our entity response entity. Based on what is that, based on the body. In the body, which kind of data will be there, JSON or XML data. And based on that, if our API is executing successfully, then status code we will get what is that, success or failure. Success means 200, failure means what is that, what. Based on that, whatever we will return the code in the integration logic. Based on that status code, we will get the what is that, status. Okay na, so this is the agenda. Okay, so for that, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. But whenever we are making the request, right guys, whenever we are making the request to whom, whenever we are making the request to whom, our producer, so we have need to stable Redmi XT. If you are using phone, right, please control your finger on the mobile. Okay, whenever you are using the mobile, I know that, because based on that mobile only you can do anything on my screen. Okay, this is little bit disturbance. Okay, now first change your name. Why you are putting this kind of Realme XT? Change your name. Okay, now what is your real name? Parents is given real name, right? Use it. This is not your identifier, man. What is your real identifier? Use that one only. Okay, yeah. Okay, so guys, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so fine. Okay, na? Yeah. Okay, so to reach somewhere, guys, somewhere, what we have need in the REST controller, sorry, in the Postman also, we have need to first, if we want to make the request to whom, our REST controller, what we have need, what URL need, right? URL need. Okay, so what is that? Come here. Okay, na? So same like. So first, what we will do now, we will take the URL as a string. Okay, na? After then we will apply what is that, REST template class. Okay, na? REST template class. But okay, so but if we want to work on what is that REST template classes, guys, so how many dependency we have need? Okay, now let's see that. Okay, now so first I'm going to create a normal core Java application, how we are creating, guys. Okay na, but Maven, I will use Maven tool to create what is that standalone application. Okay na, in that only we will develop, and each and everything we will see at what practically, and every time I will compare with what, our code with what, Postman. Okay na, Postman, I will compare my code with what, Postman. So first dependency we need, what is that, first dependency is Spring Web MVC. Web MVC, right? First we have need to Spring Web MVC. Another one is what is that, Jackson data binding. Jackson, what is that, data binding. Jackson data binding. This is what, nothing but what is that, converter class. If we want our object in the JSON or XML JSON format, okay na, then we will use what is that, this JSON data binding. What is that, dependency. After then one more, Jackson What is that? Jackson data format. Data format, right? These two dependency we have need in the client application, guys. Okay, na? Whenever we will develop our what is that client application. Okay, so fine, guys. Okay, so fine. So first, what we will do now? Let's check in our database. Still data is there or not? Because in the previous last session we deleted all those data, right? So okay, so I'm going to see now. This is the my SQL Yoga data. Yeah, there is no data, right? Okay, no problem. We will run our application and again, okay, na? Again, and we will. Okay, so first what we will do now, let's store some data. Let's store some data in our application. Okay, so in this time I will use what is that this one only. So what is that emp? So okay, so okay, fine. So now I'm running the application. First, what we will do now, we will store some data, guys. Okay, na? Okay, I'm running now. It's taking time, guys. Okay, na? Be patient. Okay. In the software industry, first things to learn what patience. Patience need. Okay, na? You are too much confident about your code, but still, at the runtime, sometime we are getting the error. So we have need to what is that? Follow the. Okay. So now finish. And even my system also nowadays, too much slow, and even I'm not getting time to what is that. Do farm it and all those things. Okay, na guys, this is the problem. I'm using what is that like free Zoom meeting. Okay, na to deliver subject. Until unless if I'm not saying right. Okay, okay, don't worry. I will. Within what is that? I'm using what is that? This Zoom meeting free, right? So this one is giving just 40 minutes. Okay. So until unless if I'm not saying okay, class is completed, guys. Please come back again. Okay, na? Come back again and reconnect yourself. Okay, and we will learn the things here. Okay. So now I'm doing one thing. I'm stopping what is that, my screen sharing to run the application, guys. Okay, now my system is not capable to run our application by sharing the screen. Okay, so give me just what is that, 2 minutes. Yes. Yes. So now what we will do now, just copy the URL. Okay. Copy the URL, come to Chrome, right? Come to Chrome. Paste it here. Okay. So what is that? So MVC, this one. Oh, sorry. What is that? Come here, the controller. This is right. EMP. So, okay, fine. We got the page right here. Just I'm giving meet imply password something, mail, some address I'm giving, India. Now register. Yeah, one data is stored in the database. If you want to see that, just refresh it. Okay. Another one is what? Another one is what? Another one is what? Password. Okay. Email, some address, India, register. Yeah, guys, two data is stored, right? Two data. Okay, so two data we stored, right? Two data we stored in the database, guys. Okay, na? Two data we stored, right? Two information is there in our database. Fine. So okay, so now what is that? Come here. So if we want to call, right? If we want to call our what? Just make this one as a update. Yeah. So after then what we will do now, we will make the request, right? We will make the request. Okay, na? To whom? To whom? To whom? Like think about that. We need what? All information. All information. So how we are making that? We are opening the Postman, guys, right? We are opening the Postman client. All based on this one, what we are getting now? Yeah, we are getting all data, right? All data, just pretty print. Okay, na? We are getting all information about in the JSON format. Okay, na? These things what we are doing, and here what message we are getting, guys? 200, right? 200 means what? Success, right? Success. So let's develop our own what? Let's develop our own what? Our own client, and the same things we will see that, okay, na, same things, 200 message plus what is that? This data, okay, this data we will see that, okay guys. So let's okay, let's develop our own, what is that? Okay, client. Okay, so I said that, see, this is what is that? Our what producer application is running in the server, okay na. So next one is what? Our application which visualize that standalone application we will develop, okay na. So what I'm going to do now, new, okay na, new, after then what, take Maven project, take Maven project. Okay, so next another one is what, someone is saying that, right, I'm getting pom.xml error, right? Please observe it, okay, observe it, okay now. After then also if you are getting, then let me know, that I will resolve. Our some other people is there like Chandan and other people is there, right? They will help you, okay. So now fine, so what is that? We will select what is that? Quick start. To create project about what is that? Standalone application, we will select what is that? Quick start. If we are developing web application, then this archive we will select, but we are going to develop what is that? Standalone application. Our client will be standalone application, so we will select this one, okay. So now next,